Hey you guys, come on in, come on in. As always, we're just kind of getting settled, waiting for you guys to join me. Hi Mitzi. Hi Onawa, come on in you guys. Lisa is here, a few new people. If you're new, just come on into the comments and let me know what your actual name is so that I can call you by that name, and tell me where you're from. Rosemary is here. Awesome. Let me flip you guys around so that we can get started. Hold on one second. Here we go. Hey Sheila, confidence expert. Awesome. How's everybody doing today? How are you doing? I'm excited for day 3 of our webinar challenge. We're here to talk about technicalities of webinars and really get into presenting with confidence and making sure that everything goes really smoothly when you decide to go live. I should also introduce myself. I have some new people on here and more are joining us now, which is really great. My name is Carolyn Soldo. I'm a business coach and marketing mentor for new coaches or those of you who might be struggling. And I work with health, life, and business coaches, and my mission is to really help you bring your passion to life and really support you in building your business, in creating packages, creating brands that are really gorgeous, helping you get clear on your niche, helping you define your marketing message, implementing a marketing system that helps you really automate your lead generation and sales call generation strategies as well, and just really position you as the expert in your niche. Because I believe that if you have a passion, I always say that if you have this burning desire to be of service and to utilize your skills and make a difference, then you can be successful no matter what niche you're in. Whether you're a health coach or a brain training expert and success coach for women, or a business coach or any coach really out there, because coaching is so big right now and it's growing. If you go out there and you look, go to entrepreneur.com or inc.com or Business Insider, you'll see that coaching is one of the fastest growing industries. And that makes me excited because I'm a coach, and that should make you excited too, because that means that more people know about coaches, more people are open to being coached and are looking for coaches, and that means that we have a growing market. And so we need to know how to connect with that market, right? And there's no better way to connect with our market than by doing webinars. And that's why, even though many of you are new and you don't necessarily have coaching packages just yet, I know you need to know how to do webinars, because that allows you to create trust and to really position yourself as the expert and share your expertise and build relationships. And it really is the fastest way nowadays to connect. You can do it virtually. You can, literally gain access to a worldwide global audience. I talked to women from Australia and Canada and Thailand the other day, and Singapore and all over Europe all the time. And it just blows my mind, because I sit here in my office and I'm in Buffalo, New York, and I talk to people from Switzerland, for example, right? So that is totally possible for you too. And you may be doing local networking right now and local workshops. And if you're doing that, that's wonderful, and you can bring that online. If you're hosting local trainings, local classes, that kind of stuff, you can bring that online and make a webinar out of it. Really cool, right? And really reach your market. So my mission this month is to really help you build a solid foundation. I sat down and I said, you know what, in May, I want to up-level my business and give you more. So we're doing the 5-day webinar training this week. Next week, I'm launching a brand new program that I want to tell you a little bit more about now and also a little bit later. And in this program, I'm going to spend 4 weeks with a small, intimate group of coaches, health, life, and business coaches, and really help you bring your passion to life. We're going to work on your first premium package. We're going to work on clarity on your sweet spot and your niche. And we also will be working on your marketing message, so that when you have this foundation built, you have a message, you know how to communicate your value and what you stand for and what you can do. You have a premium package ready, which sells for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 or more, and you're ready to host your first webinar, for example, right? So today, this is not just the training this week, but I have a lot of stuff coming for you. And I want to remind you of the wait list. This program is launching next week, and I'm super excited because we have over 300 people on the wait list already. And I'm not taking 300 people. I'm going to be working with maybe 20 to 25 because there's going to be lots of one-on-one time with me and interaction. So I want to keep that very small and intimate. And if you want to be on the wait list, there's still a few more days where you can do that. And I'm not sure if Melissa is here, but Melissa, if you're there, you can put the link to the wait list in the comments. And that is premiumcoachingprogram.com/waitlist. So if anybody wants to do me a favor and pop that into the comments, help me out here, make it easy. It's premiumcoachingprogram.com/waitlist. You guys can hop on the waitlist, and I will send you a VIP invite early next week. And that invite will have a special rate, a reduced rate, and it will also have a special bonus, which is not available to the public. It's only available for waitlist people. And I bet that the program will sell out just with the waitlist. I may not even need to do much more. But that's not why we're here. So I want to get right into the content with you guys. But I also, thank you, Mitzi, appreciate that. Yeah, premiumcoachingprogram.com/waitlist. I want to get into our content for today. And I also want to encourage you guys to be very vocal. So give me those hearts, tap on that screen, get those hearts going. Let me know that you're appreciating what I'm saying, and share the scope. If you're in the mood to share and you feel like what I'm giving is valuable, you can click on a little Periscope person and invite your followers to join us here. The more, the merrier. We can have a little bit more fun. And yeah, comment away, ask questions. If I'm saying something and you're not sure exactly what I mean, put that into the comments and I'd be more than happy to help you. That's the benefit of being there live. Thanks, Mitzi, for sharing. I love it. When you take the time to be with me live, you get to ask questions. When you watch the replay, you don't. So that's really the benefit of you being here, spending that time with me. You get to ask me, questions and actually get more out of the scope. So what we did this week, day 1, we talked about your topic. You need a webinar topic. You need to know generally what are you talking about, right? Day 2, we talked about your content and your actual slide flow, right? Your actual message. Yeah, you can take massive notes on a replay. You can do that too. So if you're watching the replay, get a pen and paper. And if you're watching me live, get a pen and paper too, because I'm going to go through some really, really important steps for you today. But yeah, day 2, we talked about the flow. So by now you should have your webinar flow high level worked out. I showed you how to flow through it, how to introduce yourself, how to set the stage, and then also how to pitch. And I showed you 2 different pitch options yesterday. So today I want to get into what it means to actually host this webinar so that you can present this like a pro, so that you don't have technical problems, it doesn't make you look bad, you're not overwhelmed by all this technology out there, and you know step by step how to go about actually, launching the webinar live and registering people and actually presenting it and all that stuff. How do you get people to your webinars? Mainly Facebook ads and of course your list. Yeah, so promotion, we're going to talk about that on Friday. Friday I have reserved for talking about all the different ways that I know of promoting the webinar and actually getting people to see that live, to show up live and to be there with you. So yay, I don't want to jump ahead, so we'll leave that for Friday, but I will definitely get into that because that is important. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about following up, so reminding and following up, meaning what to do before the webinar and after the webinar, which is really important for you to really monetize it. And yeah, and not leaving money on the table or leaving sales calls on the table and all of that stuff. Cool? Cool. Okay. So the first thing I wanted to talk to you about is delivery options, meaning what platforms to choose when you do webinars. So I'm interested in what you guys already know. Which webinar platforms have you guys tried, or are you potentially thinking about trying? Or you maybe just heard of them. Put those in the comments and let's see what we have. And I know there's always a little bit of a delay, so we'll see. Okay, Blab. Debbie, Blab is not really a webinar platform because you can't necessarily show slides, but you can do like a hangout with people. GetResponse. GetResponse is an email service, so I wouldn't use them. Lead Pages is just a tool to use. Webinar Jam, okay, hold on. GoToWebinar, Easy Webinar, yeah, GetResponse, okay. Webinar Ally, yeah, Cindy, that's a good one. And GoToWebinar. EverWebinar, Rosemary, yeah. And Google Hangouts, Anita is saying, okay. Webinar Sonaire. Debbie, I haven't heard of that one yet. AnyMeeting, yep. There's one that you guys didn't mention that I know of. And then there's a few that I haven't heard of. So GetResponse, you guys, I don't know how to do webinars on GetResponse, but that might be a good one. The one you didn't mention is Instant Teleseminar. So the first thing I want you to think about is, well, do you want to pay for the webinar platform or do you want this to be free? And the other thing is, do you want to be on video like you can see me right now, or do you want to be just showing slides, or do you want to just, you know, have audio going on? Because different tools offer different, you know, possibilities, right? My recommendation is to definitely have something that can show slides and that can show video. So when you look at Instant Teleseminar, for example, you can show slides, although you can't show them in full screen, but you can show video. GetResponse has recently gotten webinars, but I haven't tried it. Instant Teleseminar is good too, yeah. So GetResponse is something we definitely need to check out, and I'd be curious in how it actually works. Because there's two different types of webinar platforms out there. There are the ones who are sitting on Google Hangouts. So Easy Webinar and Webinar Jam, for example, are really Google Hangout systems, and Google Hangouts are free. So you're buying Webinar Jam and Easy Webinar so that those systems can give you the actual room. Google Hangouts is just a video, right? But Easy Webinar gives you the actual room with, you know, your colors and some buttons and a chat. So it actually facilitates that technology for you. The problem with Google Hangouts is that it's very, very unreliable. If you know you may try it and it's probably very affordable. Google Hangouts in itself doesn't cost anything, and you can actually use lead pages with it too. So if you have lead pages, you could embed your Google Hangouts within a lead page, and then there's also a little embed section for a chat. If you want to use that, you can use Chatwing, for example. Chatwing.com is a chat feature, and you can build your own webinar room with lead pages, Chatwing, and Google Hangouts. However, anything that is sitting on Google Hangouts is very unreliable. So I've used it in the past and people couldn't hear me. It was very spotty on and off. The whole thing crashed and I had to restart it. So if you want to put a lot of money into the webinar and you want this to be smooth, yeah, and you can use ClickFunnels as well, but I really wouldn't recommend it. I've been burned. You can tell, right? I don't like it. I've been burned so many times with Google Hangouts that I do not use it at all. And I stay far, far away from anything that uses Google Hangouts. Even, you know, the GetResponse service, take a look and see what it is really driving on. What rails it's driving on. You know, is this just a platform and it's really working through Google Hangouts? Or does it have its own system? Because AnyMeeting, for example, anymeeting.com or GoToWebinar have their own rails. It's driving. It doesn't need Google Hangouts. It's got its own system where people can come in and it's streaming live on its own platform, essentially, right? So you're going to get a lot more reliability from these systems. So I've tried GoToWebinar and I also tried AnyMeeting. And I like AnyMeeting the best because I've had no technology problems. It's not crashed on me. Most of the time, it's really fine. all of my webinars were, okay, there's always some people who can't hear you or can't see you, but for the most part, it's not any meeting's fault. It's something on their end. And I'll get to that in a little bit, what to do when that happens. But any meeting is really good, and you can, check out GoToWebinar. The problem with GoToWebinar is that it needs to register people with its own unique link. Okay, and I know there's a lot right now, but I want to give you all the ins and outs. When you register with any meeting, there's one link. So it's really easy. People register and everybody gets the same link, and when it's time for them to join, they click on it, they enter their name and email, and they're in, and they're seeing everything. With GoToWebinar, it requires you to register it with their system. So let's say you have a lead page where you let people opt in. They're opting into that, and then their name is on your list as a registered participant, right? What needs to happen is that lead pages needs to be linked over into GoToWebinar, because we also need to register them there. And GoToWebinar has just too many steps exactly for viewers. So what happens when you go through GoToWebinar, you need to integrate, let's say, lead pages with that system somehow. There's some ways, but it's not easy. And then when someone registers, they get an email from you, and GoToWebinar is going to send them their unique link. So I have these two emails. So one email says, hey, congratulations, you're in. Oh, and by the way, there is another email coming, and there's your unique link, and you have to click on that unique link. So they have two emails, and then they also need to download this app. If they're joining from their phone or from their iPad, there's this app that needs to be downloaded. And when I did that in the past, many people couldn't join me because they were like, oh, I didn't know I had to download this app. And it took me like 20 minutes to download this thing on my phone. And then I thought, just forget it. I'm not going to come. So it's very stable. You can show video and slides and everything works really well. But actually getting people into it is not that easy. So I don't recommend it anymore. So my big love right now is anymeeting.com if you want to go check that out. I really like it. It's great. You can show your video, you can show your slides, you can even show your screen. If you wanted to go through your slides and actually show your sales page, which some people do when you go and pitch, you could show your screen and then see the entire sales page right there. And then go back to the video of you or go back to your slides. So it's really multifunctional, right? It's really, really cool. So once you have decided on your platform, you guys are a little quiet right now. You're still there. Does it make sense so far? Let me know what you're thinking. I'm going to take a quick break here. What questions do you have on the different platforms? If any, just listening. Perfect. Melissa says, I only watch the replays, concentrating. Yeah, you guys can watch the replays. That's usually a good strategy too. Although it's nice, again, when you show up live, because then you can ask questions. You really want people to show up live. Get Response is powered by Click Meeting. Okay, so that's brand new. I don't know anything about that, so that's great. We have to go check that out. You're sneaking lunch. That's awesome. Yeah, GoToWebinar. Oh, Melissa says you're only doing it. Okay, so you only watch the replays when it's GoToWebinar because it's such a pain. Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. Cool. So what else do you need? Once you have decided to use, let's say, any meeting, or you want to go with Google Hangouts or whatever, you need a way for people to opt in and register, right? So you want to have an opt-in page. Oh, and cost, Debbie. Yeah, cost is a factor. So I think Easy Webinar and Webinar Jam are around $300 one time, and you get a 1 year or unlimited license. GoToWebinar was $100 a month, I want to say. And any meeting is about $79 a month. But there's tiers, and it depends on how many people can actually join you live. So there's a cutoff, and I think don't quote me on this, it's a couple hundred people. And if you want to have more people in your actual live webinar, you need to get a bigger plan, right? So you need to upgrade. So there is a little bit of a cost. Some of them give you a free trial. I know any meeting gives you a free trial, so if you're doing your first webinar, maybe wait until a few weeks before the webinar and you can trial it and don't actually pay anything for it. So that's another, thing you could do, for example. But then to opt in, to have people register, you need an opt-in page. And I like ClickFunnels or lead pages. ClickFunnels or lead pages. And then you need an email service to remind people to actually show up. And you need an email service to send them the follow-up sequence. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow, because you want to, get some excitement going before, and you want to follow up after the webinar. How many live people would you recommend to be able to have? I would say as many as you can. You want to have, why not, right? Why not? You don't, I mean, if you want to practice, which I say you should do anyways, do a dry run and practice with your friend or your husband or, someone and see, can you see me? Can you hear me okay? Can you see the slides moving? But I'd say, get as many people as you can. You're already spending the money. You're already promoting it. You're already pushing it out there all over the place. You might as well. Whether you have 20 people on there or 200, you'll be doing the same work. So you might as well really get your biggest return on the webinar, right? So that's what I feel. Oh, if there's limitations on how many you can have, yeah, that really depends on your plan. So all the services have different thresholds and different limitations. So that really depends. You have to just look into which one you're choosing to make sure that there is enough room for that. I think with any meeting, I think the max I've had was a little over 300 the one time, and my plan is still $79 a month. So that is a pretty decent number for people to join. So that's pretty good. So opt-in page you need, and email service, right? Lead pages or ClickFunnels, and then whatever email service you're using. And then you should do a tech check. Check your tech. And I would do that maybe a week before the webinar, because you want to get comfortable with this thing, right? If this is a brand new service, don't wait until the day you go live to go in there for the first time. You want to set up maybe 1 or 2 dry runs. And if you have someone like I have Melissa, my wonderful VA, oh cool, Debbie has some pricing there for us. Awesome. Hold on, Mitzi is saying, are you considering calling this Periscope presentation a webinar? No, I'm not. And email services and motivated its use. So Lisa, I'll get to that. Mitzi, I don't think this Periscope is a real webinar. I'm kind of treating this as a workshop for you guys, and I'm just kind of going through my checklist. But a real webinar for me is something a little bit more formal. So I would have some slides prepared. I would have at least an hour worth of content, even though I go long here on my Periscopes too. And I would use something where people actually need to register, and then, it's different. So Periscope is more casual, live streaming, and usually people only go on here for maybe 10-15 minutes, even though I'm abusing it and I'm going longer. But you could. That's a good way to practice. You could go on Periscope and you could give like little mini presentations on Periscope and practice, and think that, treat it like a webinar almost, for sure. So go on there live at least a week before, and I would say get a friend or your husband or your mom or dad or brother or sister or whatever, get someone to actually check it out with you. So they need to be logging in, and you log in and you actually go live. You put the video on, you upload the slides, you actually speak, and you want to make sure that they can hear you and they can see you and you can see them in the chat, so that you get an actual feel for what it's like to move around in this webinar. Where to click to show the slides, where to click to show your video, where to click to show your screen, where the chat is going to happen, what it looks like when people start to comment in there. You also want to practice uploading your slides and recording it. And I would say don't use an iPad. One of my clients recently tried to use an iPad to do a webinar, and I don't think it really worked out that well. So I would say use your laptop or use your computer to be really, really safe. and then do that test run, you know, really test it out. I also recommend, do you guys have questions, by the way, on any of this testing? I want to give you some more tips here. I recommend that you have really good lighting. Do you see this bright light shining on me here? It's really bright. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I feel like it makes me look kind of weird, but it generally is really good lighting for webinars, and it's called a Diva ring light. Do you want to see it? Give me some thumbs up, yes, 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 or no, I don't care. I can show you my ring light if you want to see it. I got it from Amazon, and it makes you look brighter. It makes your skin look nicer, and it's really good for videos. So you guys want to see this thing? Okay, let me turn it around and you can actually see it. It's going to be really bright though, so don't. There you go. You see it? So it's this round thing that's standing there. There's my son's art. That's standing there in front of me. I hope you can see this okay. And it's got this tripod, so it kind of goes all the way down to the floor. Whoops. So it's kind of standing down there. Yeah, I think you get it. It's called the Diva ring light. Let me turn you around again. Hold on one second. I have to. Here we go. You can see it, right? Is it hard on the eyes? Actually, you know what? You get used to it. In the beginning, maybe a little bit, but you're really just looking at your computer, or I'm looking at you. And so it really isn't that bad. And it wasn't that expensive either. I got it on Amazon for, I think it was less than $100. Really not that much. So get that. Makes you look really bright and great. And then also get an Ethernet cable. So I would not do a webinar over Wi-Fi. It's just, you know, for security, you want to have a really, really stable internet connection. So you don't want to necessarily use your Wi-Fi. So I have my laptop. I actually have an Ethernet cable underneath my desk sticking out of the ground. And I can pull that up and stick it into my laptop. So it's actually hardwired into my internet connection outside the door, right? So you really want to make sure that you have that going on so that if you have any instability, you know it's not you. When you go live on this webinar and people are saying, oh my God, it's so scattered and then the connection is so bad and I can't see or I can't hear you. If you have an Ethernet cable in there, you know it's not you. It's got to be them. So just do that, do yourself a favor, and get that plugged in. What else? Support. We talked about support. Yeah, if you have an assistant, ask them to join you. I always ask Melissa to join me on my webinars or join me on my Periscopes, and she's here today and she's awesome because then they can, you know, look at the chat for you. They can answer questions while you're presenting. Because the worst thing that can happen is for you to lose your train of thought. If you're presenting and you're in your slides and you know you're all focused and then all of a sudden there's comments coming up and questions, you can get really derailed. You know, like in here, sometimes I get a question and I stop and I go off on a tangent. That's okay. I just don't want to do that on a webinar. I want to just really focus on my message and get through it all and stay focused and yeah, exactly in your zone of genius. And so let someone else do the questions. If I know that Melissa is in my chat and if somebody can't see me or hear me, she can try to help them. If someone has a question, she can write it down and we can get the questions in the end. I love that because it makes me feel like I'm supported and I don't have to worry about what is going on with people out there, right? I can just focus on what I'm saying and not be nervous and just really, you know, be in the flow and do a really good job. That could also be someone like a friend. If you don't have a VA, ask your best friend to be there for you. Yeah, you're not alone, exactly. Ask your friend, ask your husband, ask somebody at work to just be in the comments and be the moderator for you there. What else? Getting ready. So let's talk a little bit about getting ready. I know many of you are tempted to have a script. How many of you want to have a script for the webinar? Be honest. Do you want to have a script or do you want to just go with the flow? How do you feel? Anybody? Are you thinking about scripting or just going with the flow? outline, mixture, just slides, flow, script, outline, both. Wow, go with it. Just talking points, no script, script. Online, having a script. Wow, so you're all over the place. You would feel safer with a script. Yeah. Yeah, at least have an outline. Absolutely. So Martina says LOL. Awesome. Okay. So I think that having an outline definitely helps. At the very least, have an outline. And yeah, have a script on the long points and outlines on the rest. That's actually what I like. I like to have a little bit of a script for things that I'm unsure about. If there's something I really want to nail. If I really want to make sure that I say something in a particular way, or that I really address something in a certain way, I have a little bit of a script, but it's just a paragraph, literally. And the rest to me is bullet points. I feel like whenever I just go with my slides, I say and like and you know, I say all of these things too much, right? It comes up too much. If I have an outline, it keeps me more on point, it keeps me more focused, and I do better. I don't have all of these filler words in my speech, so it sounds better. So go with whatever makes you feel most comfortable, but I feel like I don't do a script 100%, right? Don't have 50 pages of script all typed up and then you sit there and then you're reading it. I had one client that had literally had everything printed out, like she had like 50 pages of stuff, and then she would be sitting there like this, and then people could actually hear the paper shuffling. It was really not good. So don't do that. Just have your little outline. And actually the way I like to do it is I have my webinar room in front of me. So let's say you have any meeting or GoToWebinar or Google Hangouts right there. And then I bring up my notes document on my screen. So I actually see my slides and I can still move them, but I also have my outline right there. And it's smaller. It doesn't take up the entire screen, but it takes up maybe a third of my screen. And I can scroll through my outline while I'm moving my slides. And it works really, really well. I don't have to shuffle around with paper that I'm printing out, and it's right there and I can go back and forth. So it's really, really easy that way. Do you not share your full screen? You share the slides, Anita. So in any meeting, all they see is the slides, and if I have the video on, they see the video at the same time. They do not see what else is on my screen. So I'm not actually doing a screen share, I'm only sharing slides. If you're using, now this is the thing, if you're using Google Hangouts, you can't do that. Actually, no, I'm lying, you can't. You can share, you have to share only a certain screen, a certain window on your computer. If you want to share your entire screen, then you can't have anything else on it. If you're doing a full screen share, then you can't have your notes because then they'll see that, right? So you only want to, let's say you're doing Google Slides. If you're presenting from Google Slides, put the slides in a separate window. And there's an option that says present in separate window. And then whatever system you're using, you just show that window so that they only see the slide window and nothing else. And then you can still have your notes on the screen. So that you're going to find that out when you practice. So just go in there and do a practice run and ask your friend if they can see the slides and your notes or just the slides. But it's really easy that way. And it really, it makes you calm. You have your notes, you have the slides, everything is always aligned and it's really good. And then obviously you want to do your makeup a little bit. So I always go a little bit heavier with the makeup. What if you want to teach how to do things on your computer? Yeah, Debbie, if you want to do a real screen share, you would do a full screen share. I would not, then you really can't have notes on there. If I did a training on how to do Facebook ads, I would have to go in there and show you literally where to click and then type in a URL and upload stuff, and I would not be able to have slides or notes. So I would probably have my outline printed out, on a piece of paper, just right next to me, next to my laptop. Yeah. But yeah, get yourself ready. Take about an hour. Block your calendar like an hour or maybe 30 minutes before the webinar. Get your makeup done, get your hair done, put a nice shirt on, put your pajama pants on, whatever, because they don't see what's at the bottom. Get yourself really comfortable, meditate, work out, tell yourself that you're poised and calm and gorgeous and confident, and get yourself into the zone and really, you know, get excited. Put music on. Put music on, dance, whatever it is that makes you feel excited / calm. You want to get those jitters out of the way. And you know, people react different to different things. So if you're a calm person, maybe you want to do some, you know, go for a walk or go for lunch or sleep. If you can't sleep, probably not. But if you're more of an outgoing type of person, maybe you want to have some really fun music going and you know, get your energy up that way. You want to have high energy on a webinar. You want to go in there and say like, hey guys, I'm excited. I'm so happy that you're here. This is going to be fun. You know, hop into the chat and let me know where you're calling or where you're joining me from, and have, if you're more introverted, your energy level has to be even higher on a webinar. You really want to make this fun for people. If you're already outgoing and you're already talking all the time, it shouldn't be a problem for you. The seminar should probably be about 60 minutes, Martina. I would do about 40 minutes of content. I would do about 10 minutes of pitching and then about 10 minutes of Q&A. However, the last two I've done were 2 hours, and it's actually worked really well. I did 1 hour of content, and then I did, hey Kelly, thanks for joining. So 1 hour of content, and then I did 1 hour of Q&A, and people actually had a ton of questions. And it worked really well. So usually 60 minutes, but you can go as long as you want to with the Q&A, and people will appreciate that too. So do that. We talked a little bit about mindset. What are some of your fears, by the way? Are you scared of doing webinars? Want to talk about that real quick? What do you think is going to happen when you do a webinar? Not anymore? Awesome, Martina. Debbie says yes. What are some of your biggest fears? And I can tell you what I think about that. No one showing up? Okay. You fear the no-show. Yeah. And creating the audience. Not sure what you mean or not by creating the audience. But the no-show, you guys, it's actually no-show again. Fumbling. Okay. If nobody shows up, no big deal. Then you just lean back. You're like, this is awesome. I'm all by myself. I can let my guard down. And you still do it the way you would do it if a lot of people were there. Not knowing an answer to someone's question when I'm the expert. Okay. So, you know, when nobody shows up, okay, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Then you still do it anyways. So plan on still doing the webinar if nobody's there, because you want the recording. You have people signed up for it, and whether they show up live or not, you still want to send them the recording. So still do it, pretend like there's people there. Yeah, whether there's 2 or 50, it doesn't matter. You're still going to do it. You're going to have fun and have questions prepared. So if nobody's there to ask you questions, you just answer some questions and you say, well, in general, if nobody has questions, I probably did a great job answering them all. And but many times people ask me this, or many times people ask me that, and here's what I would say, and here's my response. So tell them the answers to some frequently asked questions. Just do it that way. If you don't know the answer or you need time to elaborate and get deeper, you just say, you know what, this question deserves a longer answer. And we don't have enough time on the webinar right now, but I will get back to you separately to answer this question for you sufficiently. So let me get back to you on this and then move on. That's what I would do too if you don't know the answer. And actually, if you don't know the answer, it's not a big deal. You know, you don't necessarily have to know everything. You don't. If someone asked you the protein content of bison, I don't know how I came up with that, but if you're a nutritionist and someone asks you a question and you just don't know the answer, you say, you know, I'm not quite sure right now and I don't want to give you the wrong answer, so let me go and research that for you and I'll get back to you separately. I used to eat a lot of bison meat in my health coaching days. I actually used to be a bodybuilder. You guys don't know that about me. I used to do figure competitions and I used to eat chicken and bison, and I knew the you know, the macronutrient breakdown of everything. Side note. But anyways, just tell them that you'll get back to them on a separate note. If nobody is there, you still do it anyways. And if you fumble and you lose your train of thought, you just go right back to it. Yeah, bison is awesome, isn't it? Yeah, but if you have never tried bison, you should. It doesn't taste gamey at all. It really tastes good. Fear of overwhelming with content or giving, they're not interesting. Okay, so you're afraid that the content isn't interesting, or they feel overwhelmed. And we can really make sure that doesn't happen to you in the beginning when you do your research. So before you ever go on a webinar, you should test the topic. That's actually a really good point. Don't just assume that people are going to like it. Always go into like a Facebook group and say, hey, is this interesting for you guys? If I did a presentation or a webinar on these, you know, 5 things, which one would you find most interesting? And maybe do a little poll so they can tell you. So we want to get a sense for how much people would actually enjoy the content before you go live. So you can be sure they love it. And if they signed up, of course they're going to like it, because you told them what the topic will be all about. So they already said, yes, I want to know more. And so if they didn't want to know more, they would not be there, right? Makes sense. And then, you know, if they are overwhelmed with the content, they can ask questions. Rachel is asking, feeling disconnected with the virtual world. So do you mean like you feel like it's weird because you're behind a screen and they're not really there? If that happens, create engagement. Yeah, create engagement. See how I'm here and there's literally nobody here aside my dog. But I ask you guys questions. Like I'm trying to pull you back in. And so, you know, we're having this conversation. Yeah. And you can do it on a webinar too. You can say, let's take a break and let's, you know, do some questions. You know, how do you feel about this? Especially if you're talking about mindset and those kinds of things. You can literally say, let's do a quick break. And when you feel you get overwhelmed yourself maybe, and tell me how you're feeling right now. What questions come up for you? What are you thinking? Does anybody have an example or some experience with this topic? And if so, would you be able to share it? And then go on your chat. So, you know, move the slides to the side, move your notes to the side, and actually look at your chat and talk to people. I think that will make you feel more connected, and it will actually feel like there's real people that you're talking to, and you're not alone. You're not by yourself. Yeah, you gotta pull them in. If you don't tell people what to do, then they're not gonna do it. You know, if I didn't tell you guys to give me hearts, you wouldn't do it. If I didn't tell you guys to comment, you probably wouldn't comment as much. So you have to remind them, and you know, it's not that people don't want to do it, they just kind of forget. They just sit there and they just listen. That's why you gotta just kind of remind them that that's a good idea. So let's see what else. Oh, there was a question about instant teleseminar. I think Debbie asked this. I'm not sure exactly what it was about, but instant teleseminar is just another system that you can use to deliver your webinar, but it's slides and audio only. You can't do any video on that one. So if you feel like, what else? Mindset. Yeah, and if you, for any reason, if you do have technology, you know, issues, you just restart. You can always restart it, but make sure it's a global issue. If just one person can't hear you, it's their issue. It's not your problem. You know, you can always tell them to leave and then come back, and usually that resolves the problem. So I always, you know, say to Melissa, tell them to go and come back, and then they're usually fine. If nobody can hear you, then that's an issue, then you need to restart. But if you test it beforehand, you will be fine. Test it one time and everything works great. You're gonna do it again and you'll be just fine. Practice your content, do a few dry runs, read through the stuff so you kind of already know it inside and out and you feel really comfortable with it, and then it shouldn't be a problem either. If you don't know the content, the one time I did a webinar and I literally wrote my slides like 2 hours before and it was not good. So don't do what I did. Do your slides like a week before and then actually go through them a few times so that you really internalize that material and you can almost speak to it from, you know, even without notes. And Cindy, I don't have a microphone. Actually, I do have one, but I haven't used it in a while. I can show you what the microphone looks like and it's a really good one. I just haven't used it in a while. Give me a sec. So it's right there. It's called a Yeti. It looks really big. It's like a radio microphone. But I use that when I record content for a course or something that needs really high sound quality. Otherwise, I use my computer. You can use the little white headphones from your, you know, iPhones too. But usually I have a Mac and my Mac audio sounds really good, so I don't need a microphone, but you can have one for sure. So what else? Couple more things. When you go live, turn off your phone. You do not want to hear the phone ringing, even your house phone. I have a cell phone and I have a house phone. They both go off. Turn off your Facebook notifications. Turn off Skype. You don't want anybody Skyping you. Happened to me. People called me, they Skyped me, they messaged me. My husband was messaging me. One time I was screen sharing, and you know how you can have the little messages that show up at the top of your screen? I was doing a webinar and he's like, you gotta go get the kids right now. I can't pick them up. And people were seeing that. I'm like, oh my God, I wanna die right now. So get rid of your on-screen notifications, get rid of, yeah, you live and you learn, right? And there's always another day. But just make sure you turn all of that off. Turn off the Skype, the Facebook, the Twitter, anything that makes any sort of noise. Make sure your kids are occupied. Buy them a new toy. Put the dog in a cage. I usually give my dog a big new treat or something, or hope that he sleeps. Or there's no mailman coming and the mailman and the dog barks at the mailman. All of this stuff happened to me. It literally did. All of it. And every time it happened, I was like, oh my God, this goes on my list for next time. My checklist. Turn this off. Make sure the dog's okay. Make sure the kids aren't coming home. Make sure the husband isn't there. Make sure he's not texting me. And he knows by now. Like my husband literally knows when I do a webinar at night, he's taking the kids to dinner somewhere. Reschedule the gardener. Yeah, all of that stuff. Because you spend a lot of money. I mean, if you do promote the webinar, and I do it, right? I spend a lot of cash on it because they work. They really work. And in the beginning, maybe go lower with your budget, but they do work. You want this to be as flawless as you can. And all these little things, not that they're bad. If there's a little ding, people are not going to be, you know, upset about it, but it throws you off. Yeah, and that's with Periscope, Lisa. I know when you get a phone call, you can't really do anything about it. Let's say I got a phone call right now, my Periscope would be paused or maybe even broken. So you just have to kind of hope that people don't call you when you're on Periscope. Yeah. Don't schedule calls when you're on Periscope. But yeah, just make sure that everything's smooth, all the noises are gone. And what are you doing with your phone to be so stable? Oh, I have it on a little tripod, Debbie. It's on a little mini tripod. You can buy those on Amazon or at Best Buy. And it just kind of stands there in front of me. It's real nice. Work through your nerves again. Just make sure that and if you're nervous the first time, so what? You're just gonna go through it. I was really nervous my first few webinars. I was so nervous I couldn't sleep the night before. I literally just thought about this awful webinar and rehearsing my slides, and Especially, you know, in my health coaching days, I was really nervous still because I wasn't doing a lot of webinars, and it really got to me. But that's okay. I could just tell you, the more you do them, the better you're gonna get. The more periscoping you do, the better you get. The more videos you do, eventually, this is just gonna be one of those things that you do. You have some notes, like I have some notes on my screen. You go through that stuff, or you have no notes at all, depending on what it is that you're saying and presenting, and you'll be fine. You just have to kind of push through it. There's no other way. Just know that everybody feels like that, right? We're all in the same boat. I use all kinds of stuff to promote my webinars. I use Facebook ads and my website and email and groups and all that stuff. I keep it easy though. I keep it simple. So I'll share that with you on Friday. Yeah, feel the fear and do it anyway. Think of your fear as energy. The way I think of my fear, you guys, and we're going long, so I have to wrap it up soon, but the way I think of fear is as energy. When I get scared or I get these butterflies in my stomach, I feel like, oh, this is my energy. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm dancing. This is my positive energy. Instead of looking at fear, and then celebrate when it's done. Yeah, get that wine out, Cindy. The red wine. Diva Day. Yeah, you know, get that, use it as energy. Use it as positive energy. Reframe the fear and the butterflies, and look at them as my body is getting me ready for high energy right now and for really loving the webinar. Yeah. It's just positive energy, and it's actually good when you have that because it will make you more energized on the webinar. You know, you're not gonna sit there and be like, hey guys, so good that you're here. Today we'll be talking about we'll be more out there. Especially to me, I'm naturally introverted. Like, I'm not outgoing usually at all. I've made myself into more of an extrovert, so I can be an extrovert or I can be an introvert. I think I can flip-flop between those two, but I always need extra energy for my webinars, and I feel like if I ever have butterflies for whatever reason, it just helps me be more on point. So yeah. So that's what I have for you guys. Tomorrow I want to talk about follow-up. That's really, really important. And pre-webinar. So what to do before the webinar and what to do after the webinar. And that happens over email, that happens in your Facebook communities, that happens on your social media platform, because you want to make sure people actually show up and sign up. You want to get them excited, and you want to have a sequence ready after the webinar that makes sure people see the replays, that makes sure they sign up for your calls or they sign up for your programs or whatever, you know, action steps you have for them. So you want to have those ready to go. Tomorrow is earlier. Yeah, I have a client at 3, so I have to do the scope at 2:30. And tomorrow we have to do only half hour. Today I went for 60 minutes. Time flies. I can't believe it. It's crazy. But yeah, I have to do 30 minutes tomorrow. Will be really quick, you know, really efficient. I'll tell you the mailers to send before the webinar, and I'll tell you the mailers that you should be sending after the webinar so that you have a proper follow-up sequence, okay? And then Friday, we're going to talk about promoting this whole thing. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun, for real, right? But we're talking about important stuff. I'm not just chit-chatting with you guys here. I hope this is helpful. I really hope this is serving you, and it's a blast for me to hang out with you here all the time, especially when you're so active and talking back. If you missed the last 2 days, I have, and then Google Slides. Okay, if you guys missed the last 2 days, the first days in my Facebook group, I was able to get that. The second day, you guys, I was not able to save because my battery died at the end. And we don't no longer have Catch. We used to have Catch.me, which saved every Periscope automatically. Now it's closed. We don't have that anymore. So if the scope isn't on the phone, I can't save it. And because today I went for about an hour, I don't know if my phone is saving it. It might be too big. So for you to see the replay, all you need to do is go to my Periscope profile. Your profile save all of your Periscopes for about 24 hours, I think. So If you want to see the replay of this one, go back to my Periscope profile and you're going to see my recent Periscopes. And you may even be able to see day 2 there as well. And yesterday's is gone now. Yeah, so, you know, this kind of makes me feel like I want to go over to Facebook Live and not do Periscope anymore, because if I go for an hour and I can't save my content, it's kind of like a lost thing. You can do a webinar on Facebook Live, yeah. I think next time, you guys, we're going to finish this on Periscope, but my next challenge, I think I'm going to do on Facebook Live, and then you can actually see me live in the group. And the videos are saved there and everything, and it'll be easier. So ever since Catch went away, I think Periscope is going to suffer because we can't get to the content. And I bet I can't get the recording, because if I'm here for an hour, I don't know if my phone has enough storage to even save that. But Rachel, I think you asked, yeah, about Google Slides. Go to google.com/slides. google.com/slides. It's a free service, and it's really, really easy for you to create slides, and then you can download them in PDF or PowerPoint, or yeah, that's pretty much it. Facebook Live is limited to people who are following. So I could do a Facebook Live on my business page, and then everybody who follows me on my business page will see it. Or I can do it in our group. So in the bigger group, the Women Coaches with Passion, Purpose, and Profits, I could actually go live in there, and then anybody who's in the group will get a notification, and then you can see the video of me speaking live in the group, and you can write in the comments, like you're commenting on a video, and I can see the comments come up on my screen. So I think that might be the way to go for us next time, but we're on Periscope, so we're just going to finish it over here, and hopefully you guys can catch the replay on my profile. Just remember, it's about 24 hours and then they go away. Yep, awesome. So tomorrow, 2:30, don't forget, if you want to be on the wait list for my 4-week program, this is a really, really rare opportunity. And I'm not just saying this, it really is, because I usually don't do 4-week programs. I use longer term programs, but I know many of you guys need a premium package. You need clarity on your purpose, you need a marketing message, and you really need to know who your niche is. That foundation needs to be there. And if you don't have it, then this is for you. It's premiumcoachingprogram.com/waitlist. And I have a few more days left. On Monday, I'm going to be sending out the waitlist offer, special price, special bonus from me. And yeah, if that sounds like it is for you, hop on to the waitlist. And we might be working together in a few weeks. Awesome. Oh, and by the way, I also want to mention this. If you want to talk to my team about the program, or about working with me, or about anything like that, I do offer free sessions. And those free sessions might be with me or with my 2 coaches. I have 2 coaches on my team now. Kelly, I think Kelly might be here, and Jen, who are phenomenal coaches. I've trained them myself, and they've been part of my team for a while now. And we are offering coaching sessions, business breakthrough calls. If you want to talk about the 4-week program or my longer term program, Brand Your Passions, which is a complete business building long-term program for coaches, you can apply for those calls at carolynsoldo.com/apply. That's carolynsoldo.com, my website, /apply. So just go in there, you'll find a link to our calendar, the team calendar, and you can pick a time and a date that works for you. And then we can have a conversation about your business, what's going on with you, what your unique needs are, whether you need a brand, whether you have a program or you don't have a program, or maybe you have something but it's not selling. So whether you're new or you're someone who's been in business for a while but you're struggling, we have a solution for you, and I'd love to speak with you, or maybe have my team speak with you as well. Alrighty, so that's all I have for you guys. 60-minute scope. Man, oh man. But it was fun. Again, I loved you guys. Thank you so much for the hearts. Thank you for hanging in there with me. And thank you, Martina. Kisses to you. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. And oh, homework. Last thing, homework. Come into the group and post your technology. Let me know what technology platform you want to be using, and any questions you have on getting ready for the webinar. But let's pick your technology. I want you to look at what platform you're going to be using to host the webinar. That's your homework. And then I'll see you in the group, and hopefully I'll see you again tomorrow, okay? Enjoy your day. Have a beautiful day, you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.